Well, this might be a record number of days in a row that we've had Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino with us here on The Story. We know that you love him. We love him. He's back tonight. Matt, I told you earlier, I was listening to the scanner in the newsroom. We're hearing a lot of wires going down.
Right.
What's happening? I thought this storm was over.
Well, no, we're still getting precipitation right now, and temperatures haven't really dropped a lot. We're not headed for the teens and low 20s like we did back last weekend, but anything that's elevated is getting cold enough to have ice accumulate on it. So there's enough wind, and now we're getting ice accumulating on power lines. I think that's why we're seeing more power outages happening out there. Because look, I mean, the airport's at 35, okay? But it's windy. It's not the strongest east wind we've ever had, but it's windy enough. But other temperatures around town are right at freezing or a little below. King City's holding at 31, West Lynn 32, 32 in Troutdale, Boring's at 30. Out in the gorge, of course, it's a lot colder, and it's all snow out that way. But for the Portland area, what about the winds? Well, east at 26 at Troutdale, east at 22 at Portland. Again, not the strongest east winds. And I was checking some of the other non-official weather stations around town and not seeing any big winds here. And you can see they really drop off as they do south and west of the city. But there's enough wind, and I really think it's the ice accumulation, Pat, that's bringing down the power lines, causing extra power outages right now. Because as I've been saying all afternoon and all evening, yes, well, it's not as cold as it was. We're getting freezing rain. It's going to end late tonight. But the icing has been on elevated surfaces, and power lines are elevated surfaces. So I think that's what's happening with it tonight, why we're getting the additional power outages that we're hearing about. The east winds, unfortunately, continue into Saturday, but the temperatures will begin to warm as we go into Saturday. That's the first day that we're going to hit 40 degrees in quite a while. So
cannot happen soon enough. I was also thinking, you know, there are trees that are down, there are limbs that are gone, and so now there's ice coming on limbs that didn't get it before, and maybe those are the ones going down as well, taking out the lines.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Everything's been stressed by the weather over the last several days, and so it may take, you know, a smaller branch now to bring down a power line compared to a week or 2 weeks ago. So all of that is going on. It certainly is contributing to the overall effect because it's all accumulating, right? And we haven't gotten rid of the snow and the ice that we picked up last weekend, and that is refreezing in some places. I think the major roads will stay wet overnight because we're not going to see the temperatures drop a ton overnight. So that's the good news, and tomorrow will basically be a dry day. But I want to talk a little about the temperature records, though, Pat,
yes,
that we've been seeing over the last week or so. So we had record cold days on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, in Portland, last Saturday, we never got above 21, Sunday 23. Those are the coldest temperatures, high temperatures for those days that we've ever had.
And I just want to say, for those of us with old houses and single pane glass, it was the first time in a long time that I've seen the ice thick on the inside of the window.
Yeah, that tells you something there, too. And my power was out for 2 days over the weekend when it was cold like that. It was 32 degrees inside my house. So that's what happens when it's that cold outside, and with older houses, like you say, that aren't as well insulated, maybe some single pane, all of that. And the east wind, if that works on your house, that was even worse. I guess the good thing, if you will, tonight is that, yes, we have power outages, and that's never fun. But it's not as cold as it was over the weekend. Temperatures in the 30s means your house isn't going to cool off as fast as it did when the temperatures were in the teens, right? Hey, we had some record lows, too. That was on Tuesday. Hillsborough, McMinnville dropping into the teens. And then perhaps Monday was one of the more impressive records, dropped to 2 below zero in the Dalles for a record low there, too. Now, today was, we haven't gotten above 40 degrees, Pat, since what, last Friday? So it got me thinking, what's that? You know, what about our streak of days where we don't hit 40 degrees? Well, it stands at 6 right now. Today was day 6. But the records, the records. We've had some long ones. Back in December of 1978, starting on Christmas Day, through the middle of January 1979, 22 days in a row, right, where we did not hit 40. And the longest streak, this is now our 6-day streak, is our longest streak since 2017. I'm sure you remember that snowstorm. I certainly do. That was an interesting one. We had 8 days in a row where we didn't make 40. Of course, we had about 1.5 feet of snow on the ground, and we didn't have the strong east wind. It kind of looked like Salt Lake City or Denver, just a bunch of snow, and it got clear, stayed cold. So this one is rivaling it. We're up to 6 days now. Tomorrow probably makes 7 days in a row where we don't make 40.
All right, and so speaking of the snow and the ice on the ground, does that make it harder for everything to warm up? It seems like a silly question, but it is there.
Oh, not a silly question at all. It definitely contributes to the cooling. In fact, the best way to get a really cold temperature is to have an elevated valley with good snow cover and a clear sky and light winds. And one of those conditions is the snow cover. So we've got snow cover and we've got ice, and that just insulates everything right around freezing, and it does make it harder to warm things up because it's keeping the air cooled right above it. So that absolutely has an impact on keeping these temperatures down a bit. And you may have noticed last night we had quite a bit of fog here and there around town. It also helps to create fog for that same reason. You're cooling the air, getting more condensation.
Always fascinating. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you taking the time. He's the hardest working man on TV right now, ladies and gentlemen.